And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello. Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. And here we are in the blessed acreage of Area 52, where the
ETs are happy and the human beings are pretty cool.
That's right. It's exactly right. The ETs are happy out here. This is where we have the CE5 encounters, close encounters of the fifth kind, or HICE, human-initiated contact experiences. They happen here in this very place, on this property, and it's an amazing, blessed place, and we're really, really happy to be here. It's July 1, 2020. And I know nobody guessed it was going to be like this at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we were all looking forward to fireworks and parades for July 4th, and now we're just trying to hold up and load up our AK-47s and just keeping people away because you just never know what's coming at you.
Well, the mayor of Washington said you should stay home for the 4th of July, but also encouraged Black Lives Matter rallies at the end of that breath.
Yeah.
But go on. Yeah. I even saw, it's funny, the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge an article by its title. A study shows, which is the vaguest bullshit in the world, a study shows that the rioters and the looters actually decreased the coronavirus in certain areas.
Right. I read this same article. It says, like, science says. Who the fuck is science? Give me a break.
This dude, you know what, though? A lot of people put a lot of weight on science's back.
Oh, man. They still put a lot of weight on the World Health Organization. Holy cow. Not only do you have cook numbers at the beginning, you got tests that are 50%. Accurate.
Well, yeah.
It's like, wow.
I have several nurses that listen to the show, and thank you. Love you, nurses. And they were passing around this email about some other nurses that work in certain places that were turning in untested blank test strips or swabs or whatever they are, and they were coming back positive.
Yeah.
So, Mike and I have said 100 times, if not more, that this whole world is a manipulation of language and statistics. And that's what we're experiencing now in its grandest fortune. These are of the best language manipulators and statistical massagers that you'll ever notice, that will ever come along. These guys, they're better than the computer they're working for. So you've got all this horseshit manipulation, all this stuff that's half true, partially true, only a segment of it is true, or if it's contrary to the dialogue, then they'll take apart the smallest part of a statement and then disregard the whole truthful part of the statement.
Well, you know what the good news is?
And call it false.
You know, the good news is out of all the, in the last 2 weeks, I posted a lot. And a lot of people basically said, oh, this is bullshit, this is blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, Facebook hasn't told me any of it was untrue.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got people that are just totally livid that I'm writing this stuff, and it's based on my reliable sources. If somebody posts something and I know who they are and they're reliable, I'll read the article. Sometimes I post it so I can go back to read it and, let other people react to it. I mean, on certain articles, I'll say something and it means something. If I just post something, it's like, hey, look at this. Let's talk about this,
Right.
And then people automatically, want to define me as something. And that's...
Well, but, here's the thing. Name calling and all that kind of stuff, that's for people... For one, it's a number one troll trick, or a troll in training. The first thing you do, what's that term when you, it's not gaslighting, but those people do gaslighting, where you accuse somebody of the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, it's projection.
Projection. Okay,
Yes,
that's not exactly the word I was looking for, but
it'll come.
It'll circle back around. The name calling and the manipulation and the I got to tell you, there are a lot of people stressed out, and because people that I know that are normally pretty cool-headed aren't, there's a lot of people doing kind of what, and I got to admit, I've been doing this. I've been taking a few or several hours a day and kind of just submerging my head into something else, and then dealing with this on a much smaller plate. I was spending a lot of time first thing in the morning, and then in the afternoon, and then again in the evening, and spending my nights reading and processing all this Hazarai. But I'll also tell you, the people that I'm involved with, I'm working a cool job. I'm working at Monster Transmission, which is the world's largest high-performance transmission dealer. And they sell drag cars and all the cars on TV.
Drag cars, are they like male cars dressed up as female
high
cars?
Heels. They have
do they do that?
Fishnet dual exhaust, yes.
Yeah, they do have a stiletto look to them. The funny cars are something different.
Yeah, they're floppers. They call those floppers. But yeah, high-performance transmissions and lots of car parts up there. So, and that's another part of Lou Angelwolf is...
an encyclopedic memory on all things automotive.
I have a savant-like quality at times with automotive stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff I remember, from 40, 50 years ago.
So what is it, Lou? What is it? It's a 67 4-barrel 354, but they had 4 bolts to attach it to the transmission, but you want a 6-bolt because the way you drive with a 511 posi rear end, it will just drive you nuts.
Oh, 511 will drive anybody crazy.
Yeah, but that's like everything. It's like you go into this Rain Man mood, and all of a sudden it's like it's like everything you wanted to know about the make, model, year, and engine types.
247 splines. 247 splines.
Exactly. It's amazing, and I admire you for it.
Thank you. At times those things were important to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I almost like throw a fuel cutoff switch from the bad news and the gibberish, and I'm actually able to flow with and it's productive. I mean, I'm getting paid to do it. It's a beautiful company, the nicest people. And it's a Monday through Friday job, so I get my weekends off. And, and the most beautiful thing about it is it's only a few minutes from my mom's house. So I've been getting to have lunch with my mom a couple times a week, lunch with my sister the other couple times, and she lives there, so I can crash out. I love my home in Clearwater, but it just doesn't. It's an hour drive each way,
yeah,
so
good for the weekend.
And everything is what it is, and everything changes. So, but I got to tell you, I'm better mentally at night when I go to sleep. And I spend the last few hours of the day catching up. And thank you everybody that sends me stuff to look at, the videos and the articles and the documents, and of course the beautiful Pamela keeping us abreast on all things. Susan, thank you so much. Caroline, Chris, you sent me some great stuff this week. Ralph, Jeff, Mark, thank you so much for your constant support. And of course Kat Carroll, she sent me some really, really heady stuff in the beginning of the week, and I just started to absorb it, and it's I just can't go there all the time. It does funk me out. I've been looking at this stuff, and it's not like, hey Lou, don't give up now. You've been messing with this stuff for 30 years. I'm not giving up now, but I got to tell you, it's overwhelming. And I know, Mike, you feel the same way. I mean, you got your law practice, and then you've got all this other stuff invading us all the time. all these and the other thing too is now it's getting so. It's like there are absolutely no rules. There's no respect for either side about anything. This is literally like playing on a playground of spoiled fifth graders. I mean, they might as well be frickin' sticking their tongues out at each other.
Yeah, but the problem is they've learned how to make Molotov cocktails and they throw them into police cars where live human beings are.
Yeah.
And they look like kids too. You take a look at them and it's like, man, are they like 15 or something? And it's like, no, 27, but that's what living in mama's basement will do to you. You will not age.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, the sun wears you out.
Yeah.
But if you don't see the sun.
And so is having a job. So, you know.
They got enough fat from the Hot Pockets they eat to keep their wrinkles down. But
pizza products.
Totino's Pizza Rolls. This is one of the 5 food groups.
Thank my son for that one.
But anyway, excuse me.
So Lou, what are we talking about today?
Well, Big Brother is an asshole. I said that in the beginning, and I still mean it now, 9 minutes later. The way that these cities and states are handling their affairs, you know, I've been a salesman most of my life, a comedian. I've met thousands of people. I've shaken thousands of hands, thousands of hugs, and I can almost tell I'm pretty good. Probably in the 90 percentile bracket of people that I hug or shake hands with or make eye contact with. I can tell that they're good people. Okay? But what's happening now is these people on the blinking news, I know they're lying to me. I know they're lying to me, and I know the things that I'm looking at. And a lot of the people that I meet on the street, I notice that they're tired, and especially if you're left of center. You know, I try to be center, a little right of center. You know, I do my best. I can't, you know, get a Trump tattoo or nothing, but because they're all politicians and they're all lying rats.
Yeah, exactly. That's by definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but man, our other friend of the show, Nikki, she was trying to, you know, she has trouble wearing the mask. Okay, that cuts down on her oxygen and it affects her adversely. And she could not find somebody to do her manicure unless they had a mask on. There's like everybody, you know, and I'm not going to get in a mask debate.
Peer pressure. What's this, like ninth
grade? Yeah, it really
something?
is that, man. And, you know, if statistics don't mean anything, you know, then the trouble is you can't trust the statistics. And the thing that I've said a few times on the show, in a medical dictionary, coronavirus is also known as the common cold. Okay? Coronavirus, not COVID-19. And if you don't know there's a difference, you need to crack a book. Okay? COVID-19 is a special, really assaultive portion that you can get once you have the cold or pneumonia or whatever. It needs the invitation. The virus needs a host.
Some people are debating even if it's a virus and not a bacterial infection. That's
really?
A whole other thing. Yeah, that's a whole thing that's going on in Italy right now. We really don't know what it is.
Well, whatever it is, it gives the government the power to throw a net down over you, restrict your movement, close down businesses, alter the economy. And you know what, folks? It's not about that cold. Hey, I'm sorry if your bumpa or your grandma passed away during this time, you know, but people in their 80s and 90s, you know, they pass away. But what it is now we're focusing on those people passing away.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really care, you know. It was like Black Lives Matter, but grandma's doesn't. So let's send her to a nursing home and kill her. That's exactly what they did in the blue states, New York, New Jersey, Michigan.
Oh,
I mean, let's do exactly what we shouldn't be doing and kill people. That's just bizarre. But it's nonetheless true.
Well, there are certain pools of thought that contend that there is a global population reduction happening right in front of us, and they're doing it. It literally is a. They're taking people out right in front of us, and they're making a couple of news stories about it, and they're trying to defragment every pointy piece. But you know what? I mean, if it's happening, it's happening. And there just can't be, talk about coincidences. There just can't be that many coincidences. And if you notice, I said it twice without implementing coinky-dink. So,
I'm glad you didn't.
I know. My friends think that's funny. But anyway, I love you guys, all you coincidental friends. But there's just too many factors for this just to be about the cold. And here we are approaching the 4th of July, and the rumor that I hear, and I don't know if it's true because I can't see it, and I try to apply my old grandpa-like convictions. Believe nothing you see and only half of what you hear.
And if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true at all.
And there's no such thing as a free lunch.
That's right. So pay up. You ate it, you got to pay.
But this whole Seattle situation with the Isle of Chaz and now the CHOP or whatever the hell.
Yeah, they want to change it. They did the same thing with ISIS and Al Qaeda. They just kept on changing the names. So you needed a scorecard, and eventually you got bored with the game. It's just all crap.
Well, the old T-shirt design wasn't selling.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And I think what it was is Chaz was like the name of this like.
It was like a perfume.
Well, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm an old timer.
Yeah,
what do you expect?
But apparently that was the name of some internet rapper or something who like deemed himself king of it. But now they call it CHOP for whatever particular reason. But there have been people murdered there. There have been a lot of rapes. And these people are not tending to their own business, nor do they have the ability to. It's so damn confusing. And the thing of it is they didn't overtake the Seattle police department and all that. They opened the doors and let all these people in. Right. They willfully did it. And they're letting them use and smear shit all over all this property that the people of Seattle have been paying for hundreds of years.
Right.
And I have heard stories that the Hells Angels and the Mongols have shaken hands and called a truce. And that's another thing I want to talk about. That they are going into Seattle to see what it's all about and perhaps restore order to that part of town.
That's when you know you're screwed, is when the Hells Angels are coming in to restore order.
Of their own volition. You guys. Yeah, and I happen to know some 1% guys, and they're really, really serious fellows. And I don't know if any of you know anybody that's out there. These guys ain't playing around, and they ain't the same people you see in movies, okay? They're not the same people. These are some serious players. They should be respected and avoided at all costs. You truly do not want a direct conflict with one of these guys, regardless of the name on the back of their rag or on the back of their cut. You don't want to cross that bridge, Kyle. I guarantee you don't, Tristan. Okay? So these fellas would be really, really wise to quietly leave over the weekend, should this all be true. Should this again? I didn't see it with my eyes. I only heard of it, so I'm only believing half of it. But that would be just another really strange page to all of this. Where's it all coming apart for them, Mike? I mean,
for who?
Like Seattle. Where did they? How do they get that property back? Does it have to be forced?
It's still theirs.
Yeah.
So they evict them. They can bring the cops in and get them out of there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned a documentary called "Seattle is Dying" that happened before all of this stuff happened.
And it smells like 3-day-old salmon.
Oh yeah. People pooping in the road.
Yeah.
But this movie this documentary almost predicted this whole Seattle situation. And hey, like when I was a kid, I was liberal. When I was younger, I mean, I was at Earth Day 1990, and I was a liberal for a pretty long time. And then just what they were doing and what I never saw any change. I never saw any difference. All I noticed was lip service that endured throughout the terms of whomever. And then I became very apolitical, and now I'm a libertarian. That's what I'm registered as, which of course is even less government than than the registration. But then again, I'm not, I'll sacrifice my ability to vote in the primary to be into the final election. Because they don't let us vote. If you're independent or libertarian, you don't get to vote in the primary elections.
Not here in Florida.
No? So, which is, and not that there's there's a lot of us, but our voice is never heard in the primaries because a lot of times we don't have a dog in the race. Now, if we have a dog in the race, we can do it. But if we don't, we don't.
Yeah. Well, so that's what libertarians are all about.
Yeah. If we don't, we don't.
Sorry, we don't have any dogs. Sorry. We're just kind of leave it laissez-faire. Leave it alone.
Right. But if I had a dog, I'd keep him right here. In my house.
I would name him Yellow.
Well, all right. So as far as like the war that literally has to be levied now, because these people that have moved into this space, they certainly know that they're not going to be able to stay there forever. They're not sufficient enough. It was just too much of it was either too much of a slipshod opportunity that just happened, or this is incredibly well orchestrated, which is my more believable scenario.
Yeah, and they're out of ice cream and cigarettes.
Shit. How are you going to live?
That's exactly it.
They're out of ice cream and cigarettes?
Yeah.
Oh, man. They didn't plan for that.
I know.
So, anyway, I don't want to. I hate it when I hate conflicts of any kind. I don't like seeing people argue in a grocery store. I mean, I really don't. The whole thing just vexes my spirit. And speaking of vexing my spirit, I talked about it a little bit last week, but it really is this week. Really noticing. Anytime I come in contact with a television, especially broadcast news, CNN, MSNBC. The other ones, the Fox and the this and the that, they all, the whole thing, it just, it's just the 24-hour fear-mongering channel. Yeah, we need to know what's going on, but the way they present it is scaring the hell out of everybody. And I got to tell you, I got a beautiful 81-year-old mom, and my sisters are there taking care of her. And she watches a fair amount of the news, and there's time. I mean, I've known my mom a long time, and I remember her she has some people have a resting bitch face. My mom has a resting smiling face.
Oh.
And I haven't seen that in her in a while. Well, she was a little sick for a while last year. But I think it's because of that damn television and all this stuff, because she's a real soft-hearted soul. And to see all these people in pain, whether you're with them politically or not or whatever, it's very, very depressing. And especially, and even for me, and it's really starting to rub off. It's like I must be getting old, Mike. This, the news, the horrible music that's out there today. I get exposed to new country and mumble rap almost every day.
Yeah.
Which is, for an old dude like me that, grew up on Robin Trower and shit.
Well, it's just a sign of an empire in decline.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, Western civilization is being attacked by, the postmodernists and the nihilists, and what you get is a complete array of depressive syndrome, and it will make you sick. All they do is they're spreading their own sickness. That's how sick they are. Is they're making us sick too.
Yeah, I agree there.
So I got one. Big Brother's an asshole, then Big Sister's a wingnut. It's like,
well, we got some big sisters that need some tightening up, man.
I've been putting up wingnuts all week. So
yeah. And and there's this like I said, I'm not going to have a mask debate, because there's certain people that say I wear it to protect other people.
Yeah,
okay,
bullshit.
Okay, right. But there's also that mask snobbery that's going on. It's like, oh, you don't have a mask on.
Yeah.
I ran into Publix the other day, and I didn't think about it because I'm self-centered and I was worrying about me. And I walked in just to grab an item or two and then check out, and they were looking at me like,
yeah,
I was,
I do that for fun now.
Yeah, you just go in by yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Well, here's the best one though. Here's the best one. When you get somebody giving you turd face on if you don't have a mask on.
Right.
In fact, I had a lady say this a few days ago, and you say, ma'am, when you're carrying a concealed weapon, you're not allowed to wear a mask. And that law supersedes this one.
Yeah.
And then they back all the way up.
Yeah.
Not only do they not want to encounter your breath, they also don't want to encounter...
Yeah, and the chances of being infected by somebody who's non-symptomatic are like zero.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So if, what's the point? It's like, so you feel better? Sorry.
Right.
I'm not here to make you feel better. I can't control how you feel.
Right.
I'm okay the way I am.
Yeah.
Get a fucking life.
Yeah. So, like I said, and there's just so much bullshit on both sides. Everybody quotes Dr. Fauci. Well, Dr. Fauci is the one that told us it's nothing to worry about. There's an article in the New Hampshire Medical...
I mean, the New England Medical Journal.
New England Medical Journal, that written by Dr. Anthony Fauci, that denounces this whole coronavirus down to a powder. It's nothing. It's nothing to worry about. His own words. So,
and then he got the memo.
Oh, shit, I already published that.
Yeah.
Or that's another part of the divine spinning plan of confusion. Who are we talking about? J.C. Sears, the comic. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to watch most of his stuff, but if Mike likes it, chances are it's funny. So he's got some stuff he wants to share. This is all going to shake up. This is going to be a very interesting weekend. 4th of July, Independence Day, all kinds of symbolism here. You've got these angry mobs attacking all of our American symbols. They don't, talk about some really ungrateful tenants.
Yeah, well, the way it's going, I would, if I were governor, I would make sure that I would have the National Guard out at all the national cemeteries, because that would be a tipper.
Yeah, yeah.
They could do a lot of damage, and that would be horrible. So then we need to protect our most sacred assets, and that's one of them.
Yep. Well, I can tell you the National Guard. I know a few guys in the Guard still, and they're on alert. They dusted off their boots. There's a lot of, and there is a lot of military equipment on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. That we're not far from MacDill Air Force Base here, and there is a lot of equipment on the ground. So, hopefully we can settle this amongst ourselves as civilians. I don't really see it happening.
No, they're communists, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a yard, and they'll come back later and they'll take some more. It's a constant fight. You cannot capitulate.
Yeah.
You have to take the irrational and make them face the reasonable and the rational.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. What's going on out there is totally irrational. We're not being protected by our leadership. And especially the Republicans. They've abdicated their responsibility. It's shameful. And here we are as citizens, left, right, middle, totally. I mean, look what happened to the mayor of Seattle. Finally, they march on her house and she changes her mind. You don't get any more liberal than that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, oh my God, we got to do something because her ox is getting gored. And you know something?
Yep.
Left, right, whatever. This movement of communism is going to gore all our oxen.
Yes, indeed, absolutely, and you can rephrase it, you can spin it, but that's what it is. It's governmental control. Why do you think they let all those criminals out prior to during the COVID thing? If the masks worked, why wouldn't you just put masks on the criminals and let them do their time? Because they want that suspicious factor. They want you to feel unsafe. Okay? So there's all kinds of like little evil chess moves that have been done here. And a lot of people are rattled, man. I mean, my poor brother. My brother is one of the nicest freaking guys. I mean, he literally would, the old saying, he'd give you the shirt off his back or the helmet off his head. And he's all like, I don't know what to do, bro. I don't know. I'm just, bro, I don't know, And even his Harley doesn't make him happy anymore. So that's bad.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. So, but I'd also tell you this. I know he watches the news, the regular news, and that's what bums him out. So I'm going to repeat this again this week. Please leave your television alone. Just let it be. Don't watch it. Just take it in smaller doses. I used to say this in my comedy show. 1 day a week. This is way before any of this shit happened. 1 day a week. Don't even turn your TV on. Just give it a Sabbath rest. You'll get by. Whatever information that you needed to know that day, it'll be there the next day.
Well, television is a sewer.
Yes.
And you know what you don't get out of a sewer?
Food?
Swans,
yes.
Right. So that's all you're getting crap.
You're just getting the rats.
Yeah. Turn it off.
Just leave it. Yeah. Just leave it be, and it'll be back the next day. I mean, if you got to catch up, but I'm telling you, man, don't wear yourself down to the bone with all this stuff. Carol, our ace reporter, please give yourself a rest on some of this stuff. I know that you get, curled up like the last fry in the box. So just give it a break and let yourself breathe. And also, too, and this is where we want to turn the show around a little bit. It's going to be a hard week. Whatever's going to happen on 4th of July or whatever, I hope everybody's happy and safe. But you got to remember, even though all this crap is going on, and we may all get called to action of some sort, You may have to protect what's yours or what you love. But also know that this big, beautiful marble that we live on is rolling right along. It is doing what it does. Like I said the other week, there were baby dolphins born today out in the ocean all by itself. There's it rained somewhere, it got dry somewhere else. What's happening with that dust cloud? Is that dust cloud still coming?
I don't know.
Has it got murder hornets in it?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't been following it.
There's supposedly this gigantor dust cloud that's coming from the Sahara Desert. It's been blowing across the Atlantic.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm still recovering from a peyote ceremony on Saturday. It's just like, talk about one way not to care about what's happening. It's like, whoa.
Personal removal.
Oh, man.
I'll catch up with y'all later. But just know there's a lot of beautiful things. If you have a family, be grateful for them. If you got your parents, still be grateful for them. If you're thinking of friends, tell them you love them. Spend more time hugging. Because that, regardless of what happens in the political world, your private world will still be as such. And maybe this time, like I said, there's always sunshine after rain and laughter after pain. So why worry now, says Mark Knopfler. It's going to reach some level of normalcy again. Things could go terribly wrong. But then again, maybe they'll go terribly great. Maybe people will finally just, bullshit, I can't take it anymore. Right, yeah. I'm mad as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
well, in the words of Jiddu Krishnamurti, try not to get too upset about things.
All those overly simplistic statements, it's like you hear them and you let them sink in and you take it apart and you go, wow, that's really complex. And then you then you take it back out and you go, no, it's as simple as I thought it was.
It really is, There's a great line from the Tao Te Ching, and it says, the ruling a country is like the cooking of a small fish, is that you do not interfere with the cooking very much, or the fish will fall through the grates.
Ah.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is exactly the opposite of that. It's like that fish is burning.
Yeah, flopping around.
I mean, you got to really change the way we do things.
Yeah.
And the way we look at things. And that's just the way it is.
And, folks, the reason I'm so anti-TV is it is called programming. It really is called programming. And you've been under MK Ultra mind control for decades, and it's everywhere. And it's sometimes you have to have special vision to see it. I had never seen the movie Tombstone.
Oh yeah.
But we talked about it last week. You did
Be My Huckleberry.
My Huckleberry.
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't quite pick up on it. And Caroline said, "Hey, you didn't know that movie?" So anyway, I got to watch it.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
And but in review of the movie was made in 1993. Okay, and I just watched it a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago actually. Yeah. And I draw back and look at what the movie was about. The movie was about gun control.
Right.
The movie was about, and subliminally, there were bad guys in town, wildly brandishing irons and shooting people, and then there was a mysterious death with the sheriff, which set the whole thing off. Okay, and then Sam Elliott in his ever expansive acting prisms. He knocked the cookies out of his mustache and said, "This is bullshit." And but what it was the law, or those with a badge, the 6-pointed star, their little Merkaba of death. They presented the idea of state-funded control, okay, and they implemented gun control. Okay, even in the wild, wild west.
Right.
And it was so like subliminal, and of course the good guys won in the end. But there was also a really beautiful love story in that movie too, between Kurt Russell and the actress that was.
Yeah, they eventually moved away and lived happily ever after in San Francisco.
Yeah, they were together 47 years after all that Hazarai.
Oh, that's cool.
According to the movie. Yeah. Based on facts. Just like news stories. Yeah. Based.
Well, I was just wanted to mention that another word that I use for television is televersion.
Televersion.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Very good.
Comes right through that way.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, but ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're sitting up taking nourishment, breathing regular breaths, you're not on life support, if everything's okay, if everybody's in the house, consider yourself blessed. But it is a time for us to be incredibly aware, and also you got to dig a little bit deeper for your news stories. The 6 media companies that give you 95% of the news, it's all the same story, just bent over to fit your head. And also, too, oh, by the way, when we all had cell phone problems a couple weeks ago, or 10 days ago, whatever, that was the phone companies installing COVID trackers on our phone.
Oh.
If you go to your settings on your phone, you now have a COVID tracker.
Oh.
Now, you have to turn it on. If you want, go ahead and look at it in settings there. I did it. I didn't believe it. I said, oh, this is another shit email or post. But there it was. I turned it on, and
COVID tracker.
It's in settings.
In settings, looking for C.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Or tracker COVID. It's on there.
All right, look under tracker.
It's on the camera. That's for sure.
Well, they definitely didn't like what they've seen. I don't see it on mine, but I'll have to look later.
We'll have to look harder.
Yeah.
But anyway, it happened. And you do have to activate it. They did give us that luxury of throwing the switch or not throwing the switch. Or maybe it's in apps. See if it's in apps. It was a self-installing app.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, you got a tracking device in your pocket, like you always had, but now there's even a special little interest thing there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mike and I, we send our love, and we wish you nothing but peace. Do your meditations, breathe deep, love who you can, kiss who you can, hug who you can, and
stop arguing over bullshit.
Yeah, really. Yeah, make it if you're going to get into a conflict, really make it worth the conflict.
Yeah.
All this petty horseshit that's going on in here.
I had a good line. I had a troll write to me and say, "This is obviously a red herring," and the reply I had to him was, "Okay, enjoy the fish." That's a good one for when you get accused of that. Some people just don't know the difference between, alternative news and the major news sources. They get everything from major news sources, and if you deviate from that in any way, it drives them absolutely nuts. They're good people. Right. They're nice, but they're so indoctrinated. It's like, I don't know if we went to this last week. I used to train dogs. And if you train a dog, how to shake with the right hand, he'll get it right. But if somebody intervenes, for example, when you're trying to do it and says shake and the dog puts up the wrong hand, the dog will always put up the wrong hand. He has to unlearn that in order to learn the new trick. And it's the same thing with once you plant an idea, it's really difficult to uproot it and then replant another idea.
Right.
So what these people are really struggling with is the knowledge that they have, and the Tao tells us to forget everything we ever knew and then learn fresh.
Yes.
And that's what they're not doing. And that's a discipline that we all have to
learn.
Unlearning everything and start afresh anew.
Wow. There you go, folks. When you get a minute, unlearn everything you know.
Yeah, just start from scratch.
Yeah, just like a baby. But I'll also say, in a parallel thought there, that's what most world religions are about, is they do offer some sort of new beginning. Christianity certainly does. You can be forgiven of all your sins and shortcomings and be reborn or born again or rebirthed or however you want to put it, where the old you falls away and the new you is rebuilt. So you can do that on your own, and it's worth doing because you'll find out more about yourself. And as we've been doing this show a few years now, and we're getting wiser and wiser as we go. And if you notice, we don't have as many pinpointing things as days gone by, because again, in the vision of fairness, a lot of the stuff, unless you have time to exhaustingly analyze it, you could be spreading baloney. So, but I do try pretty hard to at least check it out of a couple of sources. That was the thing I came around to say. And people go, "Oh, well, I fact checked that." Oh, really? You fact checked it from the people that wrote it? It's literally like putting your best friend's name on your job application. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's fine. He's a good dude. Yeah, don't worry about his prison time. He learned how to whittle. So. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the imho.love show. Please like it. Please love it. Please share it. We're on Facebook Live every Wednesday night at 7:30. Our lovely and talented producer, Kathy McGuire, with Vocal 4 Media Group, vocal4media.com. She does the downloads for us. We go on YouTube, Podbean, as just a regular podcast, and of course all the shows are permanently upheld on BitChute. That's BITCHUTE, BitChute.
Yeah.
So
cool. I also went over to a new platform.
Oh.
Parler, Parler.
Parler.
Parler. It's French for to speak.
Okay.
But I got a cool name. I like it.
What's your cool name on Parlay?
Cool Hand Luke Skywalker.
Dude, that's perfect. Cool Hand Luke Skywalker. Perfect. So find Mike on Parlay.
Parlay. I've already posted. So
have you? Well, now the secret's out. Now they know who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening, watching. Please like it, share it, send it to your friends, use it as a coaster, whatever you want to do. We appreciate your time, and we truly are honored that you spend the time with us. We certainly look forward to seeing y'all and loving y'all every week. And I'm sorry our big brother's an asshole, but that's a phase they're going through. So,
and unfortunately, Big Sister's always going to be a wingnut. So.
Big Sister, the wingnut.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you now. And now we finish.